I am actually going to read in full tonight's resolution because I think it's an important, incredibly important path that we are headed down. And so we are directing staff in these pursuits. And the pursuit of a data center development has been ongoing throughout the region, including the city of Fredericksburg, for more than a decade. And City Council held public hearings on October 5th, 2018 and October 23rd, 2018 to discuss data center development within the city of Fredericksburg. And at the October 23rd, 2018 meeting, the previous City Council, which included former Mayor Mary Catherine Greenlaw, Councilors Charlie Fry, Billy Withers, myself, Matthew Kelly, Jason Graham, and Tim Duffy, unanimously adopted amendments to City Code to consider a data center as a by right development usage within specific zoning district classifications, as well as performance standards data centers shall adhere to. Following said action, City Council unanimously passed Ordinance 19-16, which amended the city's personal property tax rate and depreciation schedule for all computer equipment and peripherals used in data centers to a rate of $1.25 for every $100 of assessed value. An identical action was taken and approved by all Planning District 16 localities to position and ensure the region's competitiveness in attracting this industry. And since 2019, the city has pursued multiple data center development opportunities solo, as well as in partnership with the Fredericksburg Regional Alliance and the Virginia Economic Development Partnership. City staff will continue to keep abreast of current and future data center development standards, including visits to a Northern Virginia development site, to an operational data center campus, gaining direct background knowledge on operational and site planning aspects of newly constructed data centers. And the area generally known as Celebrate Virginia South has, since conception, been a targeted development area within the city of Fredericksburg for high-density commercial development and build-out. And City Council in July of 2024 directed city staff to pursue advanced due diligence studies on the potential for data center development in the city of Fredericksburg. Said City Council directive additionally asked staff to draft potential zoning ordinance provisions to potentially provide for by right data center development for parcels within the development area generally known as Celebrate Virginia South. And it is the goal of the Fredericksburg City Council and the directive of city staff to pursue potential data center development which adheres to the most environmentally sustainable build-out and ongoing operations, including, though not limited to, the usage of industrial and or reclaimed non-potable purple pipe water, energy-efficient on-site generators, advanced sound mitigation and or sound baffling technologies, on-site power generation, micro-natural gas generators, roof-mounted solar panels, etc., opportunities, and best practice on-site stormwater management designs. All stated development standards shall make every effort to ensure the continued protection of the Rappahannock River. It is the goal of City Council and the directives to staff to, while the study continues on a parallel track, pursue data center developers, operators, and end users which have identified and stated 100% renewable energy goals which align with that of the city of Fredericksburg. And it is the goal of City Council to allow for the potential of limited and strategic data center development in and around the area generally known as Celebrate Virginia South. If attracted to the city of Fredericksburg, the development of data centers shall not exceed a total of less than 2% of the city of Fredericksburg total land area, or approximately 5 million total square feet. And City Council understands the anticipated economic impacts and potential annual new tax revenue for the city of Fredericksburg. At the current tax rates, data center development, if above full build-out is achieved, represents a projected 90 to 100 million in new annual tax revenue. This last paragraph, you have a former copy, there was very slight changes. But at half the desired total data center development, approximately 2.5 million square feet, the estimated $45 million in new annual tax revenue would allow the city of Fredericksburg to make significant investments, which might include the support the reduction of the real estate property rate, to enable increased capacity for the attraction and retention of public safety employees and public school teachers, to fully pay the new debt service on Fire Station Number 3 and current and future school construction, enable the advancement of citywide capital expenditures, including City Council green initiatives and historic preservation goals, the reduction or elimination of B-poll taxes for city businesses, and to support the creation, implementation, and potential continued funding for citywide initiatives supporting affordable workforce housing programs, expansion of trail networks, CTE workforce development programs, affordable childcare, among other city priorities. That is the resolution that we are looking to, we are considering this evening, again, to direct staff to continue their work. And I just want to take a moment to editorialize a little bit. I truly think that this potential development is really a generational economic development opportunity, potentially much greater than the financial impact that Central Park originally, the commercial development originally had on Fredericksburg. That was significant in its day. It is still significant today. And this is even more so. It is, again, the ability to stay competitive for public safety, city staff, and school personnel, and that cannot be overstated. It's the ability to accomplish so many of this community's goals, hopes, and dreams. We heard tonight from a number of union representatives. It's the ability to hire local electricians and carpenters and other union workers with good wages, steady local employment during construction, and then as ongoing maintenance needs occur. And what it does not do, it does not affect the increased traffic we see around here. It does not affect school infrastructure, social services and health department stresses, and I could name a number of things. I am completely in support of this resolution, and I truly think it will be it is a significant game changer for our future to position us for growth and success down the road. So are there any comments from council members? Mr. Graham?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There's no way I think any of us are going to top that. So I'll go ahead and make the resolution to approve. I make the motion to approve the resolution acknowledging the continued Fredericksburg City Council support for study of data center development.
I'll second it, but I'd like to have a discussion. Okay.
Mr. Garlock?
Yeah, I'm really glad, Mayor, that you read that in its entirety. I think we all read it and our jaws dropped. It really does encapsulate how important this data center development can be for the future of our city. And I think the public speaker, Mr. McDaniel, said it very succinctly. Basically, if we don't grow as a city, we die. Okay, we don't have a choice here. The opportunities that a data center will give us to do many of the things we want to do cannot be overlooked. This may save our bacon the way Central Park saved it a few decades ago. You know, I'm an environmentalist, but I'm also a pragmatist. So I think I speak for a lot of folks in my ward who are concerned about the environmental impacts, that it's not necessarily a binary choice, that the technologies are improving and we can reach a point where the environmental impact is hopefully manageable. But we can't ignore this opportunity.
Vice Mayor Fry?
Thank you, Mayor Devine. And again, I agree. Thank you for reading it in its entirety. And the fact that you know, this journey started some years ago. To me, it's not the same, but it's a reference in my head. I'm talking about what's going on in my head a lot tonight, but it's a reference of how long we talked about the potential for a baseball stadium, just as a comparison for myself. And we talked about what that would do for the community and how it would bring people together. And it was this outlandish goal to the point to where we even rejected you know, a deal before we ended up with the Fredericksburg Nationals. just almost like a dream of council to do something better for the community. And COVID slowed down, you know, some of the celebrations that we should have had in the very beginning. But of course now, you know, we reap the benefits of the work that was put in before. And I'm comparing that to this, to what we did years ago to try to pursue or at least be competitive. It's hard to be competitive in certain markets when one thing we don't have is a lot of property. And all around us, there's a lot of potential opportunities. It's happening around us right now. Any new development you see now, if you don't see a sign that they're selling houses, when you see trees go down, it's a data center. I'm telling you right now, if you go on the back road somewhere and you see a bunch of trees missing and you don't see any signs, it's a data center. It's happening all around us. The potential that it will bring to the city is huge. I have to give a shout out to my Teamster brothers and the other union folks, you know, out here in the world, and also the ones that came to speak tonight. The union is a brotherhood. I'm a guy that didn't go to college, but that workforce brotherhood and sisterhood is something different out there in the world. And when you work alongside folks in different industries, we are a big family. The union, big family, and so much can be done through unions. And we've talked about projects that we've done here. Most recently, I think we had a discussion about the schools and what maybe they could do about hiring folks locally. We also talked about the wastewater treatment plant. There's a lot of things we couldn't do at that time for labor factors. The fact that, I'm just throwing a number out there, and I'm probably not wrong. The fact that probably every year 75 kids graduate from James Monroe High School with nowhere to go. Either they're going to college or they're fishing for a job. Like literally, like, will somebody hire me? The fact that folks can line themselves up with opportunities right here in Fredericksburg to be, for instance, we have companies around here that hire day laborers, right? A day laborer is the same thing as an apprentice. You just don't have the opportunity for a career. So in Fredericksburg, what we have is folks that continuously get hired for day labor with no benefits, with no nothing, with not knowing where they're going to go work at. There are also a lot of companies in this area that hire folks for 90 days. They get rid of them. They get rid of them on the 89th day, and they hire another batch of folks to go and work. So because after 90 days, they're pretty much considered part of the company, so they get rid of them. With unionized employment, it won't happen. It won't happen for the construction. It won't happen for the future of any type of business like this. Just like, for instance, the new VA clinic that we tried so hard to get ourselves. When the folks get hired at the new VA clinic, you won't hear about them leaving. Similar to years ago, if folks remember anything about the GM power plant that was in Fredericksburg, that was a job to have in this area, okay? Those folks that were at that job, as long as they worked there, they pretty much, when that building shut down, they were still the employees of that building. These opportunities, they come once in a lifetime, and you have to take advantage of it. Another note, Mayor Devine, I just want to throw a couple things out real quick, and then I'm done. Wants and needs of the city. I just want to give some examples about my tenure on council. I remember when we wanted a riverfront park, and I remember how many times people came in here and demanded a riverfront park. I remember building a riverfront park, and I remember folks saying, "Why are you raising my taxes?" People wanted the park. They came out in droves and said they wanted the park. I went out to community meetings after that, and folks were saying, "Oh, you raised my taxes. You asked for the park." Nobody had an idea of how to pay for these things. It's a city amenity. It's downtown. It's going to help. It's going to boost. But there's a cost that comes along with it. That cost was passed on to the residents of Fredericksburg to pay for the park. Even though there was a long journey of work that was done for the park, I'm not taking away that part. I'm just saying pretty much 50 people said we wanted a park, and they got a park, and we had to pay for it. Most recently, a lot of us are part of it, folks came out in droves in red shirts, might I add, just for a reference point. If you ever check the minutes and check the old videos, look for the red shirts. Folks came out and said, "We need a school." the city's crown for education. We need a better education in the city of Fredericksburg. We started out with a conversation about an elementary school. The elementary school conversation eventually turned into a school of the choice of a middle school. There was, don't quote me, there was a $20 to $25 million difference in pricing from elementary to middle, just on the idea of a new school. Folks came out, city council acted. The school board makes a decision. We're the bank. We were the bank. We made it happen. It was an extra $25 million or so, right? That's exactly what happened. There was nothing out there set to pay for that. That's another expense, okay? If there's an opportunity for us to do something that's going to change the scope of how things happen in Fredericksburg, I'm all in on it. And for instance, my last example, Mayor Devine, I know I said two, we had on the books some years back, maybe 5 years ago, it may have fell off the books. There was a constant conversation about a rec center. The conversation stopped about the rec center because we can't afford a rec center. We can't afford a rec center. So what do we do on council? We sit here with our Parks and Rec department and our local schools, and we try to come up with agreements of how we use our schools to take care of the citizens in the city, right? So on council, the only leverage we have is saying, hey, can we borrow your school? We're asking for things that we need, and we can't afford to do it. So if there's an opportunity for us to do these types of things, like a rec center for the future or whatever that is, or maybe get one of our schools off a mortgage, right now, and which is going to save money in the future, I'm all in. I got real hype. I didn't anticipate on getting hype, but yeah. Long story short, if we don't do a data center or explore that option or continue to explore that option, and maybe the end result we'll have it. We're doing a disservice to the residents of Fredericksburg. So, thank you, Mayor Devine.
Dr. McIntosh?
Thanks, Mayor Devine. And I just want to echo what everyone said. And again, I also appreciate reading the whole thing out, but I really want to draw the public's attention to item D on this list of potential new investments, right? And to draw a little bit of attention to this sort of one of the unfortunate ironies of the situation we find ourselves in, which is, as a locality, we've made green commitments to our citizens, and those are green commitments that I really believe in and think are really important, but they're expensive, and no Prince Charming is coming riding to the rescue to help us buy the electric buses we need to meet our 2035 zero carbon goals, right? So, the irony of this is not lost on me, right? That we have to pursue an economic development option which is facing significant challenge, and rightfully so, from the environmental community, in order to achieve the environmental goals that we've made to our citizens, our environmental commitments we've made to our citizens, and the goals we've set for ourselves as a city, right? But I just wanted to echo Councilor Gerlach, right, in saying that I've confidence that we can pursue data centers in the absolute most environmentally responsible way possible, right? And unfortunately for me, that's a compromise that I think sitting around this horseshoe, I have to take seriously, right? That one set of environmental commitments is it requires another set of environmental negotiations. And the other thing under item D there, right, is we heard a lot tonight from our great ARB, right, and our city staff about the importance of historic preservation, right? And one of the challenges we have as a city is that we ourselves are the stewards of some considerably more historically significant properties, right? Like the old stone warehouse or the Renwick complex, right? And those are historic structures that need really, really meaningful investment in order to live on into the 21st century. And again, I don't know where the money for that comes from, right? And to Vice Mayor Fry's point, right, the public would be on us, right, if we moved them to a private owner that would make that investment, right? So we're stuck up here on this horseshoe, having to listen to support, I think, what is the legitimate desire of the community, right, to see those incredible the historic treasures remain in public hands and be renovated and restored and preserved and rejuvenated for the future. But that's millions of dollars right there. We got to find that somewhere. And so I just wanted to draw the public's attention to the connection between this resolution that we're passing and all the other things that we talk about up here on this dais as being, incredibly important and legitimate priorities of the city and of the community.
Okay, please cast your vote. Oh, sorry, Dr. Duffy.
I just do want to say that I do support continuing to look into this, and I really appreciate the mayor reading it, and I think this does need to be circulated throughout the city that as a kind of a starting point of everybody being on the same page of, what's the value of, pursuing this and be a part of the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Holmes?
Once again. No, I just want to reiterate that I do think that this is something that we need to pursue. And it's not lost on me that, letter B enables increased capacity for the attraction and retention of public safety employees and public school teachers. If we don't have the revenue to be competitive for our city staff and for our teachers and those kinds, we're going to have significant recruitment and retention issues. So I just wanted to point that out as well.
Okay. I think we're ready. Please cast your vote.
Motion passes 7-0.